Okay, still fighting the spaghetti monster here, going through and replacing all of this rotted out wiring one by one.
Definitely new and vibrant colors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wire.
Trying to use the same colors. It doesn't really matter. The scheme we have is in black and white, and it's not like you're going to be tracing any of this down. But
true.
Yeah. So, but just.
Oh, and you got the vintage cloth wrapped power cord.
Oh yes. Yes,
which is like a new product made to look old.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Wired this so that the hot side goes immediately to the on-off switch.
Mm-hmm.
These old radios came with non-polarized plugs, and one side always went to the chassis.
Ooh.
And so when you plugged in, you had a 50-50 chance of the chassis being hot, which is why these always came either in a big wooden cabinet or later in plastic cases. Basically what you would have is a metal chassis floating in an insulated case so that you wouldn't electrocute yourself.
Because half the time if you touch it, you've got 120 volts AC.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the old film noir trope of somebody being in a bathtub and they chuck the radio in the bathtub with them.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's where that came from.
And now you're done, yeah. So
you updated that.
Yeah, so what I've done is,
isolated the chassis from the actual AC power.
Well, what I'm doing is taking the hot side and it goes immediately to the power switch here. So when the power is off, the chassis isn't hot, or because it's got a polarized plug, so that the hot lead, and
this is the vintage repop that we purchased.
Yeah, let me open this up here.
Repop means reproduction,
something like that. So yeah, and I love these. They look very, very vintage. It's a vintage design, but it's a polarized plug. So you have the wide blade and the narrow blade. If I remember correctly, the wide blade is the neutral or grounded side, and the hot one is the golden one.
One's silver and one's kind of goldish.
Yeah, color. So the black wire goes to the gold lead. So black is live. So this is the live. And white is the neutral side here.
Okay.
So
all right.
Anyway, so yeah, putting this on, just a matter of running the wire through the back here.
They even have like the 1940s Bakelite design on the back
yes,
side.
Yeah. That's what just makes it so charming. It doesn't look out of place.
Yeah.
So so I'll run the wire through here, tie a knot in it, and then the knot becomes a strain relief for this.
Which was the standard at the time.
Yeah, it's exactly how they did them. Yeah, and then
in fact, I think we've got footage of the original cord had a knot tied in it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and so and then just land them under the two screws here, and then there's this handy little cap that will go over top of everything and keep it all nice and clean and insulated that way.
Cool.
So that'll be that.
And then you were talking about some wire that was basically fossilized.
Having to do a little bit of fabrication here. One of these wires, I have no idea what the function is, but it was shielded, and this is the original one here, and it ran in through here and then to the chassis. It's maybe not all that easy to see here. There's still a remnant here. It was soldered to the chassis, and then the shielding went over to another grounding lead over here.
And this is a socket for one of the vacuum tubes.
One of the tubes, yeah.
Okay.
So, in other instances, I've been able to pull the old wire out of the jacketing that was on it, this woven jacketing. This thing, they are just fused together.
So that's like a coaxial cable?
Yeah, basically, yeah, very much so. You've got your signal.
Zoom in.
Yeah, your signal carried by the wires conductor, then the insulation jacket, and then a grounding, woven grounding cover over top of it. So to replicate this, what I did is found an old USB cable.
Old but new in the context of this radio.
Yes, relatively speaking, very, very new in present company. But yeah, it's a scrap USB cable, and under the rubber
okay.
jacketing on this.
The braided
It's got
ground.
the same braided ground, and then
Shielded
yeah,
ground.
shielding,
Okay.
yes. And then underneath that is a mylar layer providing further shielding. Then you've got individual conductors, and then some of these are also redundantly shielded as well,
Okay.
shielded pairs here. So the whole idea being is you can very gently score this with a razor blade to split it, strip it back, and then cut whatever length of this jacketing you need, pull the wires out, and then the handy trick here is this stuff does unravel. I'll take this.
Okay.
So I'll take this and then twist it, keeps it from unraveling. And then that twisted section you can solder, well, you can solder it so it just stays put, or in this case, I was able to solder a grounding wire to it here. This has got some shrink tubing over here, and this grounds to the chassis on this end.
That silver is probably like solder, like tin coated on the jacket.
This stuff here, yeah, it's tinned copper wire. So
okay.
Yeah.
And then this is the bass and treble and balance.
Yeah, that whole switch assembly here. Let's see, this is the the normal low bass, alto voice, treble switch.
Oh, okay. And that was over here in the cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Neat.
So it's
kind of craftsman-like electronics.
Yeah, it's a long, not necessarily tedious, but always interesting and always challenging running into stuff like this where you've got to come up with.
Yeah, and this USB cable was probably, I don't know, $4.
Yeah.
But for you to find that braided grounding would have taken like several hours, and it probably would have cost more than this entire finished USB cable.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, they do sell it on rolls, but do you want to buy a 50 or 100-foot roll of stuff, or you just, scrap
and drive across town, or click a button on internet and wait 3 days.
Yes. So this is why you never throw anything out.
Yeah. Well, this is cool. Great progress.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's coming along. This has been a lot of fun.
Great. And then Sierra seems to approve as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
So just setting up to put this modern reproduction of ancient plug on here. And again, we talked about this earlier, just stringing this cord through, put a knot in it. I'm just trying to make sure I have enough cord here. This knot will sit down here, act as a strain relief, and then I want to have enough cord to be able to wrap around here, strip it back, and then wrap the conductor around the screw and anchor it with a screw. There's always a temptation to solder these because they hold together better, but they get better contact, have much less resistance if you just have twist the stranded wire, wrap it around the screw, and then screw the screw down. So that just takes a little bit of fiddling, but that'll be done.
And I guess the solder can have effects on the metal over time as well?
Well, not so much that, but what it does tend to do is embrittle the wire right where the solder joint ends. And I actually ran into a couple things here, wires I needed to replace or re-terminate while I was doing this. Digging way down in the bottom here, I made the mistake of making some connections earlier on, and actually you can see this has gotten kind of moved around. So what happens, you flex these too many times, you get brittleness right where there's the junction between the solder and then the conductor, and you flex that too many times, they work hard and then break off. So best to, if you can, work from the bottom up so that you're not moving stuff around that you've already soldered up, so it doesn't work hard and then fracture. One of the big accomplishments today was rewiring this switch module here.
Oh, nice. So you got that all back together. Yeah,
so these are the tone controls, and so these have all been re-terminated. One thing I'll need to do is get in here with some contact cleaner. This is still really dirty inside. It's kind of interesting how these work. You just have these spring-loaded contacts, and when you push the button in, there's a little rivet in here that it just makes contacts with with the rivet head on either side, and that turns that on. And when you pull it back off, out, it has a little indent that they pop into and makes a little
and that rivet's like housed in like a Bakelite plastic.
Yeah, I think.
Knife edge?
Yeah, I think this is Bakelite. I'm not certain, but yeah, very, very likely. But
Okay.
what I'll need to do is
Get a
getting.
view of that rivet.
Oh yeah, you can see them all along here. Which is kind of interesting too. Is some of these, the rivet is. Let's see here. Where's the? This one, it's a normally closed. When you push it in, it goes to open.
Oh.
Okay, so there's the rivets up here, whereas these guys down here
interesting.
are normally open, and when you actuate it, it closes the circuit there.
Huh.
So
okay.
just
It's a self-burnishing knife edge switch. So.
yes. But that being said, this is still really filthy.
Yeah.
What I will probably do is just attack this with some contact cleaner and knock all that stuff off of there and, and get it cleaned up that way. I love this deoxit. It cleans and leaves a light lubricant film that doesn't attract a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And while
Not
I'm doing,
sponsored.
I'm not sponsored. But yeah, I'll also get then inside. This is kind of a master switch here. It's power and volume switch. So I'll get the little wheel that goes on here and spray that in there and work that. It'll clean up any noise and stuff like that in there. And same thing on the band selector. We'll go over all the contacts in the band selector as well with this stuff.
Okay.
And let's see, also on that subject, let's see, clean all that stuff up. I think coming up next will be pulling this escutcheon plate off of here with the lens in it.
Oh, okay.
And refinishing this.
Yeah, that lens still has like crud.
Yeah, it's kind of dirty, but it is glass, so it's going to take some cautious handling there.
Yeah.
I believe it's just these little screws here that are holding this whole escutcheon plate into the wooden cabinet.
Would you say it's safe to say that this glass is not tempered?
Yes. Absolutely. And if you come around back, let me see if I get some light in here. Where's your...
Well, this camera.
Yeah, your iPhone has got spectacular with that. So, so this glass is held in with just these little bent metal tabs. There's a little piece of rubber combing in here.
Oh, okay.
And that, isolates that. So what I'll do is...
So there's a chunk, like...
Yeah.
That was probably soft rubber at some point.
I believe it's just straight sections. It just goes between these two tabs here, and then here there's... well, actually...
but it feels fossilized.
Yeah, I'm certain it is. And I'm going to have to find something to replace that. So I will very gently pull these tabs back, remove the glass, find something... I may be having you make a J.C. Whitney order, or not J.C. Whitney, McMaster car.
Oh, okay.
And, I'll have to buy, a 10-foot length of this stuff so that we can replace it. But they probably have something that's very close to this.
Automotive supply.
Yeah, it's possible too. So, yeah, that'll come out. And then while I'm at that, I will also go ahead and paint the band selector wheel to match. So that way you'll have the band selector wheel, and you can see these are originally similar color, but they're both just really kind of corroded.
And you're just going to find it reasonably close.
I'm going to find, I'm I spent some time going around different car parts stores trying to find like stock car paint that you get in a spray can, for 10, 15 bucks. Experimented with a couple of them, was not happy with the results. If I was doing this for a museum, I would go and get some paint custom matched to this, and you can still do that if you.
It's probably not necessary.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it can be done.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is make these both a matching gold color that will stand out really well against the black dial face, and with the nice rich warm color of the wood that way.
All right. Cool.
So in that way they'll key off of each other as well.
Nice. Okay.
And go with the gold grill cloth, which is the next thing to locate as well.
Okay. And that paint may be available at like a hobby store. The little stubby spray cans.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Neat.
That's what's coming up.
Well, thank you for that update.
Sure.
So talking about coatings, we were thinking maybe this gold may be an appropriate one, but we're not sure if we can match this either. But then we were looking at the inside, and that's like a copper color. Do you want to comment? Do you think that's actually plated?
That is flash plated.
okay.
And the reason being, there are a number of places in here where things are grounded to the chassis. These shielded cables are actually soldered to the chassis in a couple of places. There's another one down here. And so what they did is they flash it with copper so that the solder will take to it more readily.
So that's an easy assembly trick. Just cover the whole thing in copper, and it's I guess a corrosion resistant.
Absolutely, yes.
And it helps with the Faraday cage.
All those things.
RF shielding.
Yeah. You know, again, Zenith was real high end, and they did stuff right. They were not cheap radios.
Because that's not a cheap process.
That is not a cheap process, no. But it's you know, again, all the advantages of, again, you can solder things to the chassis. It acts as a Faraday cage, or enhances that, and it keeps things from rusting and corroding. You know, you've seen my old that old Helicrafters shortwave that I was working on down here, and the whole inside of the chassis is just rusty.
Oh yeah,
you know,
that is a good point, because this is a good 80-year comparison, because your radio was
that was about 70.
Oh, 70.
Well, see, there was vintage. No, it was
70 years old.
Or yeah, it was about 70 years old. It was vintage, like 1952.
Oh,
so yeah, about 70 some odd years old. Whereas this is
it's like
10 years older. Yes, 19. Yeah, this is done in 42. It was done in the Helicrafters in 52. But again, entirely different classes of manufacture. I mean, not that Helicrafters were poorly made radios, but Zenith was just like, the Cadillac of radios.
Yeah. The other one was kind of just a general purpose daily use radio.
Yeah.
Huh. Neat. Cool. Thanks for that tidbit.
Okay.